And I think those that have tasted with me before knows that I'm very soil specific on certain wines. And what have worked for me in terms of Cabernet Franc have always been decomposed dolomite granite. And the reason why I say that, and before I started with Cabernet Franc, I've traveled a lot and I worked at a lot of places. And what I found is that people that make world-class Cabernet Franc, in terms of soil type, has one thing in common. It's all quite gravelly. That means well drained. They're all sort of low to medium potential soils. That means not overly fertile soils, and they all have either a chalk, lime, dolomite, some white stone or chalkiness, calcaire, for instance, in Loire, in the soils. Now, the only soil type in South Africa that I found that had these characters was decomposed dolomite granite. In Stellenbosch, that is basically Bottleray Hills. In Paarl is one big, that dome there is one big chunk of dolomite granite. And as you drive towards Malmesbury, you'll see these soft rolling hills are all decomposed dolomite granite hills. That was the first thing. Unfortunately, in South Africa, people have always classified Cabernet Franc as a Bordeaux variety. And Cabernet Franc doesn't originate from Bordeaux, it originates from the Loire Valley. And if you go and look in Chinon, if you go look in some more Chaume-Champellier, St. Nicolas de Beaugrail, you'll find that these characters, and that's where, as far as I'm concerned, the best Cabernet Francs in the world are made, and on these particular soils. So we've always treated Cabernet Franc as a Bordeaux variety, and wrongly so. So in South Africa, they usually planted it in either sandstone-based soils, in a different lot of soils that was way too fertile. And that was usually the problem, is that when you plant Cabernet Franc into fertile soils, like most people have planted, although Cab and Petit Verdot and Malbec might do well in it, it was not suited for Cabernet Franc. So I think the departure point from a South African point of view is that they treated Cab Franc as a Bordeaux variety, is that you get very high alcohols, there's excessive growth, and when the fruit is eventually ready, the acidity is lost. It sits with a hell of an alcohol, and there's still a greenness in the wine. And I'm sure we've all tasted Cabernet Francs like that, not just in South Africa, but from California, Australia, a lot of different places. So that was the essence for me about finding the right soil type for Cabernet Franc. And as you know, my little farm in Polka Dry is basically on a decomposed dolomite hill, which is Polka Dry.